Hey there, my friends. How's it going today? What are we doing? Well, today I'm going to break down top 5 beginner tips for Diablo 3. In fact, not even top 5 beginner tips. I mean, some of these tips that I'm going to talk about today, I didn't even know while playing this game like halfway through. These are really awesome tips. As you can see, I'm angry right here that I did not know that these tips were available to me. I played for months without knowing some of these. So today I'm going to make a short little video, top 5 tips that are going to make you a better player in Diablo 3, whether you're a beginner or even an intermediate player. All of that's getting started right now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Nemo. Welcome to another Diablo 3 video. Today we're going to break down top 5 beginner tips and even intermediate tips for Diablo 3 players. These tips are going to be in no particular order. That's right, 1 through 5, it does not matter. They're all very important and make sure to check them out. I'm going to be giving you a lot of different information. Before we get started, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, come on down to our Twitter and my Discord. We have a lot of exciting stuff going on there. You definitely don't want to miss out. There's a lot of cool stuff that's going on our Discord, our Twitter, and definitely, of course, on this channel as well. I'm going to be actually coming out with the advanced tips as well, top 5 advanced tips for Diablo 3, so definitely want to make sure that you follow me there. Big shout out to Hewan. Hewan is one of my friends who plays Diablo 3 with me. He's the one that helped me come up with this guide, and I'm actually gonna have him on voice next time in the advanced guide, where we're gonna be telling you some of the top 5 tips that can make you an even better player at Diablo 3. But of course, before we go there, let's get to the first tip in this guide. Alright, so first tip. What is the first tip? Well, did you know that you get a free pet when you start playing this game? Everybody now, when you get Diablo, you get 1 free pet. You also can get a pet from completing a seasonal journey. We'll get to that in a little bit, but everyone should equip a pet. A lot of people don't know about this, like you should get a free one. So if you go right over here by the magnifying glass, right on the bottom left over here, you click this, you get something called the collections. If you look at the collections, there's a bunch of different stuff. Wings, you get portrait frames, you get pendants. We'll talk about all of that, but there's one thing called a pet. Look at this. So when you first start playing the game, you get one. You get a free one, and you also get one, like I said, for completing seasonal challenges. Now, what are pets? What do you do with them? Look at this one. This one's kind of crazy, right? This is a necro pet. It's a pet. It's a half-formed golem. Kind of freaky looking. Then we have this one that's pretty cool, and I have actually Charlotte, right? So I have Charlotte. You can unequip them and equip them. What do? There's only one really positive, but it's actually a really big one. Pets will run around you. They're with you everywhere you go. So when you're in battle, when you're out there, slaying demons and doing stuff, you get a pet with you. And this pet's gonna run around and pick up gold for you. And they have a pretty big range as well. So what that basically means is that you don't have to do the extra clicks and run around the map and pick up the gold yourself. You have a pet. This pet is gonna be able to work for you and do all this stuff, and you get one for free. A lot of people don't know about this, so there's so much unnecessary gathering and clicking when you're running around the level. Well, if you just equip a pet, that boy is gonna run with you. Whichever one it is, there is no difference. It's just visually they look different, but that's about it. They don't fight. They don't do any damage or anything else. They literally do nothing else but pick up gold for you and just run around and make you look cool, right? Because you got a posse with you. You got an entourage now. It's not just you running around. So that's pretty cool. You get a pet. Make sure to equip one right here with you. It's like something that, along with the follower, the same thing with the follower, right? You can go and actually grab yourself a follower. We'll talk about that in a later video as well, but it's the same thing. You get like a little posse, but a pet is super helpful. Very cool thing to do, and you definitely want to do that. Let's move on to the second tip. Alright, so what's the second tip in this guide? Well, the second tip is actually to play with friends. That's right, to play with other people. Now, a lot of people say, hey, well, but obviously, but no, you actually have real good reasons to do that. Besides someone else helping you maybe, picking you back up when you're dead, or, helping you beat bosses and all of that, there's actually a lot of other things that you can do. One, you can share consumables. That's right. People, if you play with the friends and maybe they don't need specific things, they can grab them and just drop them for you. It also is an extra perk, I would say, if you're playing with people that are playing the same character as you. So if you have two demon hunters playing together, the one demon hunter that is hired is grabbing gear and maybe they don't need it, they can drop it off and give it to the second demon hunter. So your friends that are playing with you can share gear. If they get specific gear that they already have or they don't need, they can drop it for you so you can pick it up. So that's like another good thing about playing with friends. It's more fun, it's better, and all that. You definitely want to make sure that you play with friends. Now, a lot of people say, okay, well, I don't know how to play with friends, right? How do I find friends or whatever? There's many different ways to do this. You can find people by just basically going to a bunch of Diablo Discord servers. There are communities, there's all kinds of forums, and the best possible ways for something in-game. That's right. Did you know that you have guilds or clans and communities in the game itself? That is my tip number 2 for you. A lot of people don't know about this. A lot of new people don't know about this, but if you go right over here, right on the side, right over here on the bottom right, you see that there's a clan and communities tab. That's right, there's a clan and communities tab. You can also alternative press shift and O and at the same time, and that'll open up for you as well. What's a clan and what's a community? Let's say, you see on the bottom right here, there's 2 buttons. There's a find clan and there's a find community. And if you hit the find button, you'll notice that there are so many. There's different filters, like you could do it by language or whatever. There's so many different clans. You can kind of click them and see what they're all about. There's a description right here. I'll switch myself to the other side actually so you guys can see. But there's a description right here, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff. You know, let me move myself over. As you can see, right, there's a bunch of different stuff that you can check out as there's different clans. Now, the difference between clans and communities we'll talk about. The clan can have 150 people max, so you can go and find yourself a clan that is looking for people. There's 149 right here, and on and so forth. You can find a clan, and then in the clan there's gonna be people that are gonna play with you. They're gonna help you, that are gonna do stuff with you together. There's activities that you can do, and on and so forth. There's a social game. You definitely can find people this way by just joining clans. Another way, and you can also create your own clan, obviously, as well. So there's that. There's another way, of course, and another really good way would be the communities tab. You can go to find communities. Now, community is like a clan but bigger. There is no minimum. But community is basically a bunch of people that are getting together for a specific reason. If you go to the communities tab and find one, there's like, for example, there's seasonal power leveling. Right, so you need help power leveling, and I talked about that in another video, by the way. If you want to learn how to power level in like 20 minutes to get to max, not even less than that, I'll link the video at the end of this one. Definitely check it out, so you can use that video along with this right here and be able to find people to power level with and have fun with. There's a bunch of other ones that you could do: split farming, there's rift people, there's power leveling from 1 to 70, you got greater rifting. I'll go on for days, right? There's a bunch of different groups, like there's monks, a witch doctor group. There's so many, so you can find yourself a community that you like, a community that you're interested in, something that, and then you can find other people, talk to them, get advice, talk to them, play with them, find friends, and on and so forth. So this is a really awesome thing within the game that a lot of new people don't know about. So remember, shift O, and then you can find a clan and a community, and you can join as many communities as you want, right? And then you can find yourself a clan so you can play with other people, because you'll be able to, like I said, get so much more by playing with someone else. There's plenty of other videos I have on power leveling, on rifting and all of that. You should definitely check them out. I'll link them at the end of this one. But that's a really good way to play. And tip number 2 for you is definitely to play with other people. All right, so next, what's my tip number 3? Tip number 3 has a lot to do with seasonal journey. Your seasonal journey as a player in Diablo 3. When you first start playing the game, and again, I have another guide on how to start and all the tips for that one, beginner tips. I'll link that again at the end of this video. But basically, the idea is that you create yourself a character, right? You create a character, and you could do either a regular one, a hardcore one, or a seasonal one. A lot of people will do a seasonal character. I'm not gonna go into what that is. Check out the video if you don't know. But basically, when you start playing a seasonal character, there's a seasonal journey. A lot of people don't know about this, and you get free stuff for completing specific tasks in the journey, including the gear, right? That's what you want. When you create a seasonal character, you get specific gear sets that you get for completing things. So how do you do this? Like I said, a lot of people don't know about this. If you go to the top right there, right by where it says normal, that's your difficulty level, and the time, right next to it, at the end of it, there's a little green book with like an objective right next to it, right? So you click that, and that opens up, as you can see, a seasonal journey. That's your seasonal journey right over there. Now what do you have? You have a bunch of tasks. They have a bunch of chapters. So chapters right over here, and tasks. What can you get for this seasonal journey? So if you notice, you can get a bunch of stuff. You can get this armor right over here, this awesome armor you can get when you the Seeker of the Light armor set. Now it tells you what those things are. There's a crown of the light head, there's a torso, a hands, a feet, a shoulders, and legs. That's your gear set. That's what you would get if you complete all of the chapters. Right, so notice that's kind of what's happening here. If you want a complete set of all of that gear that we just talked about, all of those pieces, you have to complete all of the chapters, and there are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can complete all of these chapters and you're gonna pick up all of the gear set. You also get these portrait frames, which are pretty cool. So chapter 2, chapter 3, and then chapter 4, as you can see over here. That's what you're getting. Now, that's awesome, right? Now, how do you complete them? By completing these tasks on the bottom. So if I go to chapter 1, there's a bunch of different tasks. As you can see, the new start, I still have 3 to go. Once I do, I'll complete that and move on. There's a bunch of different ways to get it. You can look at them all below right there, as I showed you, and just complete them, right? Get them going. Now, when you finish the 4th chapter, you get the awesome gear set. So you get those 6 pieces, you get a portrait frame, and you get some other stuff too. You get wings, and that's pretty sweet. Wings, that's right. And that's what kind of like the gear set can look like. It's really cool, right? And then you get portrait frames. Portrait frames is something that you put onto your character. I'll show you. That's also in collections, right, where the pets are, and I'll show you where that is in a little bit. And when you move down there, there's also Slayer. What is Slayer? Well, Slayer, if you complete all of those 10 objectives, you get a better frame. You get an awesome portrait frame. Actually, as you notice, there's Slayer, we have Champion, we have Destroyer, and the difference is, as you notice, the middle part of the frame right over there, that's what changes as you complete all of those sets. Now, Conqueror, you also get another thing. When you get to Conqueror, you get 1 extra space stash. That's right, 1 more bag in your stash for free for getting that. And of course, you get the portrait frame for the Conqueror reward. The last one, if you maxed it out, this is where you get everything. When you max this out, when you get the Guardian one, you also get a portrait frame. You get another portrait frame, a really cool one, as you'll notice right here on top. This is a really sweet one, and you get the pet for that season. So this is the pet right here that we're talking about. Move out of the way. Right next to me right there, there is the pet for the season. So in order to get the pet, the coolest portrait frame along with the most upgraded one, and then the entire gear set and the wings and all of that, you have to complete all the way to Guardian. That is your seasonal journey. A lot of people don't know about this. A lot of people forget and just don't even look. But if you go and take a look at each chapter, you'll see what you're missing and what you need to do to complete it. And a lot of the times, it's not that hard to complete it and get those rewards. It would be cool to get that seasonal gear set, because you can actually see, if I drop that, you can see what it does. There's like if you have all of the 6 pieces, it increases the damage of the blessed hammer by 12,000%. It has 1,000 buff on the falling sword. There's a bunch of different things that it does, so it's really cool. And if you wanted to get that set, all you have to do is complete the 4 chapters to get it. And then if you wanted to get everything, including the cool pet that you get for that season, along with the frames and all that, you just go and finish it up, you know, with your seasonal journey. And that's how you do it. So make sure that you complete all 4 chapters and then move on to get anything else that you want. Now, how do you? I mentioned that I'll show you how to use the portrait frames. So if you go into collections, and then your collections right over here by wings, pets, and then portrait frames. So as you notice, you could all of these portrait frames that you have, you can change them up and use whichever one you want. Right, I'm gonna use this one. This one I like, and that's where it would appear. So let's move on to the next tip. Tip number 4. All right, so move on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is very important. Now, for a lot of new players that don't know this, have you ever heard of icyveins.com? Now, there's a website, icyveins.com, and then there's a bunch of different games. Of course, we're going to be on Diablo 3. I'll link the description. In the description, I'll link this website to you. You should definitely go and check this out. What's good about this website? It contains a lot of different information for each of the different characters that you might want to play with. It has a lot of different stuff. It's not just guides. It actually gives you specs and gives you specific gear sets, everything that you need to know about a specific gear before you start grinding for it. It's actually for every character. It's really great tool for everybody who plays Diablo 3. It has I mean, honestly, it has so many things. It has a lot of pro tools in it. Like all of the new sets, it has all of the gears for it. Everything that you would need. Like, so you don't have to waste your time grinding for a specific gear set or armor and think to yourself, or even like a specific build, and then not liking it and having to do something else. So let me show you an example of that. So as you can see right here, there's each specific character has a different tab right over here, and then there's the farming tab, and then there's a season tab. So you have everything that you could possibly want, like a seasonal leveling guide. You have journey guides, you have overviews, you have everything complete, like conquest guides for bosses, for curses, for divinity, and so on. Like if you wanted to pick, let's say, a barbarian, that's one of your favorite characters. Well, how about a fresh leveling guide to 70 on barbarians? And anything basically you need to know. And if you go into that guide, right, you could see it talks about everything. I mean, it has literally everything. Why you choose barbarian, the progressional, seasonal or not, gems, canized cube, followers, change. I mean, literally everything that you possibly would want about a barbarian, and even their like specific gear sets and all of that, everything that you will want. They look at all kinds of weapons. You honestly, I mean, stats and priorities. It's awesome. It's a really awesome place for you to get as much information or as little as you want. Let's say, for example, you wanted to take a look at a specific barbarian set. You wanted to know, if you're looking at, let's say if you look at the barbarian, you wanted to know, you wanted to get yourself a build. What build do we want? How about the Hammer of Ancients build with the Rekar set, right? So let's take a look at that one. It's a high tier set. Right, it kind of tells you what it's doing too, what it's for. So we take a look at this set right here, and you can look at each set, you can look at each active skill and what it does, why they describe it over here. And then you can look at like for example the weapons. You can look at each set, each glove, and all of that, and exactly what it does. It breaks it down right here on this website. It talks about stuff. It really gives you a good idea of what the set's like, what the build is like, and what you should be doing with it. So you can get all that information before having a grind for the specific build. It's actually really sweet thing right here. And as you notice, it gives you it gives you dungeon guides right over here, right? Set dungeon guides for each one, and it gives you end game and a leveling build. In the end game, as you notice, there's a top tier. There's a bunch of different tags for it. Like this is a good one for a top tier group farming and support. This is it's like a high tier one for solo, for GR pushing and GR farming and so on. So you can kind of grab yourself a set that you would like, get all the information for it, and then go grinding for it, so you can get yourself a nice set character and, you know, rip apart demons like you'd want to. This helps you not waste time. I love this website, something that you should definitely go check out. I'll link it in the description of this video. Let's take a look at the next tip for this beginner guide. All right, last but not least, tip number 5 for beginners in Diablo 3 is to play on the hardest difficulty that you can. That's right, the hardest difficulty that you can. So what does that mean? If you go to the game settings, and right over here you can see that there's a difficulty level. You could change them, and you notice that there are 16 different difficulty levels. Now you start off right here on normal, and you can move up to hard, to expert, to master, to torment, and all the way to torment 16. That's the highest difficulty. Now keep in mind, what you want to do is you want to increase the difficulty as you increase the gear level and your power levels and all of that. You don't want to, difficulty level isn't about how good of a player you are, it's about how good you geared and how much of character progression you've done so far. So the higher the difficulty, the more ads there are, the stronger the bosses are, and so on and so forth. Right? So the idea is you obviously don't want to power level or get your character all the way to max, get all the best gear things, and or be somewhere in the medium level and still play on normal. That's just not going to work. I mean, it's going to be too easy for you, but the problem is the gear is not going to drop. The good gear drops happen when you increase the difficulty. You want to make sure that you push the envelope, but don't push it too hard where you can't play it. It's just not enjoyable because you're getting killed all the time. That will happen if you push to a little bit of too higher difficulty level before your character actually gets there, and before you progress, you're going to get schooled and owned, and you're not going to be able to play it. So make sure that it's a nice even line. It's that razor edge that you're walking. So make sure as you progress and move your character up with its gear and leveling and all of that, you make sure that you move up that difficulty level to keep yourself engaged more, because you'll get better gear and more things if you play at a higher difficulty level. So that's my tip number 5 for you, to make sure that you increase the difficulty level as you increase your character and become stronger and stronger in this game. You want to start off somewhere between normal and hard and then just push all the way up. Eventually you'll get to Torment 16, which is the highest difficulty in the game, and you're going to start playing, you know, greater rifts with it and all of that, and it's going to be awesome. But make sure that you kind of pace yourself. Don't go there too fast, because it's not going to be fun anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this top 5 beginner guide for Diablo 3. I hope you learned something. I hope this guide helps you and makes you a better demon slayer and hunter out there. Make sure that you kill as many demons as you can. I really appreciate you watching this video. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Watch out for more Diablo 3 content. We're actually going to be coming out, me and Hewan, actually. The Hewan is the person that helped me put this together. He's going to be coming here. He's going to be on voice for the next Diablo 3 advanced guide that we're going to put out. That's right, we're going to give you top 5 tips for advanced players in Diablo 3. We're going to be putting a lot more stuff out, so you're going to make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, come on down to my Twitter, follow me there, and definitely our Discord, where you come hang out with us and make sure that you're in the know for all the latest news. While you're here, check out this video right here. This is a really cool one, and I'll see you there.